Welcome to Learn English with Tech Leads with your hosts, Marcus and Sarah. Deconstructing world-class software architecture and engineering culture so you can master professional tech English. Let's dive in.
So picture this. It is 4 p.m. on a Thursday.
Oh, wow. Already a bad time.
Right. And your Slack pings. It is the VP of product, and the message is deceptively casual. It just says, still on track for Friday, right?
Your stomach just completely drops when you see that.
It really does. You know the answer is absolutely no. You are working on this massive new payment integration, and, well, 2 out of the 3 bugs in that integration are still open.
That is stressful.
Even worse, one of those bugs doesn't even have a clear root cause yet. You feel your heart rate go up, your palms get sweaty. You have to deliver bad news to a very important person.
Yeah, that is a universally stressful moment for, any engineering leader. Your brain immediately senses danger.
Exactly.
And it is especially difficult when you have to navigate that high-pressure conversation in a second language.
I completely agree. So welcome to today's deep dive. Our mission today is to explore exactly how to deliver bad news to a stakeholder in English.
Right, because we want to help you avoid panic. We want to avoid making accidental accusations and keep a highly professional tone.
Exactly. And just a quick note on pacing and format for our listeners today. We are going to speak noticeably slower and clearly today.
Yes, we are taking our time.
We want to explicitly explain complex English phrases so that you can confidently use them in your next tech meeting.
That makes a lot of sense. And before we get to the actual framework, let's look at the wording in that terrifying Slack message.
The on-track message, right?
Exactly. The stakeholder asked if you are on track. That is a very common business idiom in English. Think of a literal train on a literal railroad track.
Right, the metal rails on the ground.
Right. If the train stays on the track, it moves smoothly and arrives at its destination exactly on time. So when they ask if a project is on track, they are asking if the project is progressing exactly as planned.
Got it. And in our scenario, the train is definitely off the track because we do not have a root cause.
Oh, that is a great term to explain, actually.
Yeah. In software engineering, the root cause is the fundamental underlying reason for a technical bug. It is not just the symptom you see on the screen.
Right. The symptom is just what the user sees.
Exactly. The root cause is the deep original source of the error in the code. If you do not know the root cause, you simply cannot fix the bug.
That is completely true. So, you have this massive problem. You do not know the root cause. You are definitely not on track. The stakeholder is waiting for an answer.
It is terrifying.
It really is. So how do you reply?
Well, before we talk about the right way to reply, we really have to talk about why our gut reactions usually make things worse.
Oh, definitely.
Usually engineers do one of 2 things, and, well, both of them are disastrous extremes.
Yes, human nature completely works against us here. When humans face a threat like, say, an angry VP of product, our instinct is either flight or fight.
Right. We want to run away or start swinging.
Exactly. We want to hide from the problem or we want to panic and get aggressive. But in a professional tech environment, both of those natural instincts fail completely.
So let's look at the first mistake from our source material. This is the flight response, the instinct to hide.
What does the source call that?
The source calls this softening. This happens when a tech lead replies to the stakeholder by saying something like, "This might slip a tiny bit, nothing major."
And softening the message like that is a critical mistake. When you say a tiny bit, you are intentionally hiding the real information.
You're downplaying it.
Right. The stakeholder doesn't grasp the severity of the problem. They do not understand how serious it is until it is far too late to change their business plan.
So it basically removes the facts from the conversation.
Exactly. Softening the message just strips away the data.
Softening the message is like putting a Band-Aid on a broken leg.
Oh, I like that.
And just to be clear, that is an idiom. It simply means trying to fix a massive problem with a solution that is far too small.
That is a perfect way to describe it. A tiny bandage does nothing for a shattered bone.
Oh, wait, let me push back on this a little bit.
Sure.
Isn't softening the message just a way to be polite in English? I mean, as non-native speakers, shouldn't we try to be polite to our managers?
I hear that a lot, but that is a very common misunderstanding. And it causes a lot of trouble for international engineers.
Really? How so?
In Silicon Valley business culture, hiding severity behind politeness is considered incredibly unhelpful. It is actually not polite at all.
Oh, wow.
True professional politeness means giving your colleagues accurate, clear information so they can do their jobs well.
Okay, I see. But it is so tempting to just send that soft message and, log off for the day.
It is very tempting.
The source text actually mentions a specific phrase about this. It says that typing a soft, easy message only buys you 24 hours of calm.
Yes. Buys you 24 hours of calm.
What?
Let's pause on that phrase. It means that lying or softening the bad news gives you one stress-free day right now.
Like you're purchasing a day of peace.
Exactly. You purchase peace today, but it creates a massive disaster on Friday at 5 p.m.
Right.
You get to relax on Thursday evening, but you guarantee a total explosion on Friday when the software simply is not ready.
You are just delaying the pain and making it worse when it finally arrives. So what about the other extreme, the fight response?
Right. The source calls this bluntness. This happens when the tech lead replies, "There is no way we are hitting Friday. This was rushed from day one."
Oh, wow. That sounds incredibly aggressive.
It is very aggressive. It sounds like a direct accusation.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear that.
When you speak with that kind of bluntness, the stakeholder completely stops thinking about the software. Instead, they feel attacked.
So they get defensive.
Exactly. They feel like they have to defend their own actions or their timeline. Bluntness strips away the calm environment that you actually need to make a good business decision together.
So if we synthesize this, the actionable takeaway here is pretty clear.
What is it?
Your job as an engineering leader is not to protect feelings. And your job is certainly not to attack the stakeholder. Your job is to lead the stakeholder in a position to make an informed decision.
Right.
You cannot do that if you soften the truth, and you cannot do that if you attack them with bluntness.
Exactly. You have to find the middle path. Since those two extremes fail to help the stakeholder make an informed decision, we need a structured way to build their understanding step by step.
Which brings us to the first half of the 4-step framework from our research.
Step 1.
Yes, step 1 is share the facts and absolutely no conclusion yet.
Right. A fact is the least debatable piece of information you have. It is something that cannot be argued with.
Just pure data.
Yes, you must start there before you say what you think those facts mean. For example, your first sentence should be, "As of this morning, 2 of the 3 payment integration bugs are still open."
Notice how clean that sentence is. It has numbers. It has a specific time constraint. As of this morning.
Right.
It is absolutely zero emotion. It is just pure, cold data.
Yes, and only after you establish those hard facts, you move to step 2.
What is step 2?
Step 2 is share your tentative conclusion. You say what you think the facts mean in a tentative but specific tone.
Give us an example.
You say, "Based on that, I do not think Friday is realistic. I could be wrong if the 3rd bug turns out to be quick."
I actually want to challenge this order for a second.
Go ahead.
If I am the VP of product, I am incredibly busy. Why go through this 2-step dance?
Well,
Why not just start the message by saying, we are not going to make it, so they know immediately?
that is a fair question. It comes down to human psychology.
Okay, tell me more.
The source text makes a brilliant point here. The order of the information does all the heavy lifting. If you start with the conclusion, if your very first words are, "we won't make it," you put the stakeholder on the defensive immediately.
Ah, I see.
They experience shock and panic before they even understand why.
So they stop listening to the technical details because they're already panicking about the deadline.
Exactly. But if you start with the pure facts, you allow the stakeholder's brain to process the raw data first.
That makes sense.
They are smart people, they look at the text, 2 out of 3 bugs are open, and they naturally arrive at the exact same negative conclusion on their own. By the time you finally type, "Friday is not realistic," it is no longer a surprise to them. They have already braced for it.
That is really powerful. You're basically guiding them to the truth instead of throwing the truth in their face.
Right.
I also want to highlight a specific phrase you used, tentative conclusion. Let's break that down for our listener.
That's a good idea.
A tentative conclusion is an opinion or a decision that is not 100% final. When something is tentative, it means you are open to being wrong.
Yes. Saying, "I do not think Friday is realistic," is tentative. It invites discussion.
While saying there is no way we will finish is blunt.
Exactly. That shuts down the conversation completely.
So the major actionable takeaway here is to always lead with verifiable data before offering your technical opinion. Let the data tell the bad news first. Let the numbers do the hard work for you.
Exactly. Now, the bad news is fully on the table. The stakeholder knows the facts, and they understand your conclusion without feeling attacked.
But, and this is crucial, the conversation cannot stop there, right?
No, absolutely not. Once the bad news is out, Using facts and a conclusion, the conversation must immediately pivot from the problem to the solution.
Right, because now they are staring at their screen, wondering what happens next.
This pivot is exactly where senior developers separate themselves from junior developers. Step 3 is ask what you do not know.
So ask questions.
Yes, and as an engineer, you are almost always missing information on the business side. You have to ask about their business constraints.
The source text gives us a great template for this. You should ask, is there a hard constraint on Friday I am not aware of, or is there room to move?
This step is vital. Assuming you know the full business context is a massive mistake.
Oh, engineers do this all the time.
We really do. Engineers often think the deadline is just arbitrary, just a date on a calendar. But maybe the marketing team has already purchased expensive television advertisements for Friday.
Or a strict legal compliance requirement hits on Friday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You simply do not know until you ask.
That makes total sense. You are inviting them to share their reality. And then immediately after you ask that question, you move to step 4.
Which is?
Step 4 is close with a plan, not an apology. You say something like, here's what I would propose. We ship the core flow Friday and the edge case fix Monday.
Notice what is completely missing from that proposal.
Yeah, there is no I am so sorry.
None. Not a single apology.
Honestly, an apology without a plan is like a compass without a map.
That is a great way to look at it.
And to say it literally, saying I am sorry, shows you care, which is nice, but it does not give the stakeholder any actual direction on what to do next.
Right.
It just leaves the stakeholder with the exact same panic they started with. Okay, you are sorry, now what?
Yes. In high-level professional English communication, an apology on its own does not move the conversation forward. It actually centers the conversation on your guilt rather than the product's success.
A concrete plan moves the project forward.
Yes, exactly.
I want to pause on a piece of technical jargon you just used in that example plan. Edge case.
Ah, yes, edge case.
In software development, an edge case is a bug or a problem that only happens in very rare, extreme situations. It does not happen in the normal, everyday user flow.
It is the rare exception, not the rule.
Right. For example, if a user tries to buy a product using a currency from a country that no longer exists while using a 10-year-old web browser, that is an edge case.
And it is the perfect concept to use when you're negotiating technical trade-offs. You offer to fix the main user flow right now to save the launch, and you offer to fix the rare edge case later.
This perfectly sets up our actionable takeaway for this section. Never leave a stakeholder asking, now what? Always end your message with a concrete, actionable proposal.
So, if we look at the complete picture, we have our 4-step framework. Fact, tentative conclusion, question, plan.
It sounds so simple.
In theory, in a perfect vacuum, this sounds flawless.
But software engineering is never in a perfect vacuum. Stakeholders are stressed humans, just like us.
Exactly.
Let's apply this framework to some real-world stress tests. Because, as senior developers know, stakeholders often push back.
They certainly do.
Sometimes they completely reject your plan. Or sometimes the bad news isn't about a missed deadline at all. It's about breaking something that already works.
Let's start with scenario 1. Stakeholder pressure.
Okay, imagine you use the 4-step framework perfectly. You explain the open bugs, you ask about their constraints, and you offer a solid plan.
Okay, I'm with you.
But the stakeholder replies with pure, heavy pressure. They write back, this really needs to happen Friday, we already told the client.
Ugh, that is a terrible feeling. When they drop the "we already told the client" line, the pressure is immense. You feel like the entire company's reputation is resting on your shoulders.
It is heavy. But the source text explains exactly how to handle this gracefully. You must not cave, and you must not defend. You must keep the conversation focused entirely on the trade-off.
How exactly do we phrase that in English?
You respond by accepting their constraint as reality and then forcing a technical choice.
Give us the wording.
You reply, understood. Given that, here's the option. We ship without edge case handling and patch it on Monday. That means a small risk window over the weekend. Is that acceptable, or does the client need the edge case covered too?
Wait, let me stop you right there.
Sure.
If the VP says they already promised the client, my instinct as an engineer is to just say, fine, we will work the weekend and get it done.
Right, the hero instinct.
Exactly. Isn't that just being a good team player? Shouldn't we just absorb the pain and deliver the software?
That is a very common reaction, especially for conscientious engineers. But the source text strongly advises against it.
Why is that?
The text advises focusing on trade-offs and options, not heroic rescues. If you just agree to work the weekend, you are hiding the true cost of software development from the business.
Oh, that is a great point. If you always just work nights and weekends to save the day, the stakeholders will always expect things to be done faster than is physically possible.
You are setting a bad precedent.
Exactly. By asking the stakeholder to choose between speed, which is shipping on Friday, and quality, which is having 0 bugs, you make them a partner in the reality of the situation. They have to own the risk with you.
That is a much more mature way to handle project management. Let's look at the vocabulary used to describe the bad reactions.
Yeah.
You said we must not cave and we must not defend.
Right. Caving means giving up completely under pressure.
Like a physical cave in the side of a mountain collapsing under too much weight.
Yes. When you cave, you say yes to an impossible deadline just to make the immediate stress stop.
And what about defending?
On the other hand, defending means arguing angrily about who is right and who is wrong, maybe bringing up past mistakes.
And the 4-step framework helps you avoid caving, and it helps you avoid defending. You stay completely neutral and focused on the work.
Neutral, professional, and solution-oriented.
Let's look at scenario 2. What if the bad news is a quality drop?
Okay, what does that look like?
Let's say you actually shipped the software on time, but you broke something in the production environment. Does the framework still work?
Yes, you use the exact same 4-step order: facts, conclusion, question, plan.
Let's hear how that sounds in practice.
First, the fact. We found a data inconsistency affecting 3% of transactions. That is pure data.
No emotion, just the verifiable truth. What is the tentative conclusion and plan?
In this case, they are blended. You state, the fix is ready, but it needs a 2-hour database migration tonight.
And then the question.
You ask,
Daniel.
Does that timing work, or will it interfere with your reporting cycle?
It really is beautiful. It is the exact same framework, just with different content. You provide a verifiable fact, a specific scope of the damage, in this case 3%. You provide a plan with a timeline and a question that reveals what you might not know about the business side's reporting cycle.
Exactly. You are not hiding from the mistake, and you are not panicking. You are just managing the reality.
Which brings us to the actionable takeaway for this scenario. When faced with intense business pressure, use questions to force the stakeholder to choose between specific technical trade-offs, like speed versus quality.
Right. Do not absorb the pressure yourself through heroic weekends.
We have covered a lot of highly technical communication strategy today. It is time to bring it all together.
Let's summarize the journey we took. We started with that terrifying Thursday afternoon Slack message.
We did.
We learned that hiding the truth with softening or angrily attacking the stakeholder with bluntness both fail completely.
So we have to use the professional 4-step framework.
Step 1, facts. Give the verifiable data first.
Step 2, tentative conclusion. Tell them what the data means softly, without triggering their defenses.
Step 3, question. Ask about their business constraints to understand the bigger picture.
Step 4, plan. Provide a concrete proposal for moving forward instead of a useless apology.
I want to offer a word of encouragement to our listeners.
We do.
Mastering professional English, especially in high-stress tech environments, isn't about memorizing fancy, complicated vocabulary. It really isn't. It is about structuring your thoughts clearly.
That is so true.
When you use this framework, you remove the emotion and you remove the language barrier from the situation. You focus completely on solutions. You now have the exact blueprint for your next difficult message.
You really do. But before we go, I want to leave you, our listeners, with a final thought to ponder.
What is that?
Throughout this entire deep dive, we talked about managing upward. We talked about using this framework to speak to stakeholders, clients, and bosses. But think about this. What if you applied this exact same 4-step framework downward?
Oh, that is a fascinating idea.
Imagine a beloved engineering project gets canceled by the executive team. How would you use facts, conclusions, questions, and plans to deliver that bad news to your own engineering team?
It is the exact same human psychology, just flowing in a different direction.
Right. Think about how much trust you could build with your developers if you treated them with that same clear, structured respect instead of just dictating bad news.
That is an excellent exercise to practice your professional English and your leadership skills at the same time.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into professional communication. We hope you feel more confident for your next challenge.
Keep practicing, keep communicating clearly, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.
That's a wrap. If this breakdown helped, hit subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss a lesson. Keep learning, and we'll see you next time.